Flynn pulls me over rocks and boulders. I stumble along, trying to keep my balance. Flynn's insistent, though, almost angry. We reach the edge of the lake and he throws me down. I stare at the wet sand, then back up at Flynn. He points and tells me to dig. I start digging. I don't know what I'm looking for, and I ask, but Flynn doesn't say anything. Water keeps filling the hole. It's hard to keep sand from sliding back in. Finally, I reach in deep, and someone grabs my paw. I stay like that for a long time. That was unnerving.
So Flynn's like bringing him there and like forcing him to confront something.
Yeah, but it's a dream again. So it's like,
I know.
But it's like just surreal. Something in the sand reached up and grabbed him. It's like like they're digging up a body.
Yeah, like I wonder who.
I wonder. Well, but like it's not like Sydney was. I guess it's symbolic maybe, but like because like Sydney wouldn't have been buried at the lake.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's like Jason
Unnerving.
from Friday the 13th, where he's like in the lake, but it's like obviously he's not actually in the lake because he's probably buried somewhere because they're not gonna leave a kid's body in the lake.
Yeah, we're back to the symbolic lake dreams.
Sorry to spoil Friday the 13th for anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
Damn. Here comes the police, the spoiler police. Kiki really perks up for sirens.
She doesn't like my dog doesn't like the police.
Based.
Yeah. Yeah. How's this look?
Carl dangles the lure in front of himself, bouncing it around. The song is so funny to me every time it comes up. It's like an ad for a timeshare.
It is kind of like that, actually.
It just sounds like a commercial song.
Travel to sunny, like,
it's
you know,
so
San Diego Bay. Like,
our beautiful coastline.
Flynn squints at it incredulously. I'm pretty sure his muzzle would be hanging open if he didn't have a toothpick in his mouth. Jesus fucking Christ, Carl, what is that?
That's such an overreaction. What?
Carl has tied the spinner in a giant, ugly knot, the string sticking out in every which way. This is why I told you to fucking wait. I guess Carl had gotten impatient and decided to tie his own lure while Flynn helped me with mine. Flynn takes out a knife from his pocket and takes the spinner from Carl, scowling. I'd throw this away if it didn't have so fucking few of them. What's wrong with you, Carl? Carl shoves his paws into his pockets as he watches Flynn struggle to getting the knot fixed. Don't be mad at him. He's got weird cloppy finger things. Like, he doesn't have fingers.
I just think it's funny that he's like never taking Carl fishing despite him doing it all the time, and also like,
yeah,
it's Carl. We love him.
or maybe he has. He's just this bad at it. He's never learned.
That is cute. I like this dynamic. They're fighting. Like, oh, you don't do anything very good. I don't see what the big deal is. It's attached, isn't it?
He looks at me and grins, shrugging his shoulders. I shrug back. You made it so fucking big it's not gonna spin right. Flynn's muttering angrily under his breath, squeezing his forearms to his chest as he tries to keep his fingers steady. Carl rolls his eyes and looks over at me and grins.
Why we gotta fish with these when we got an otter with us?
I'm willing. That's not the point. Flynn almost growls, prodding and poking at the messy knot. It's about relaxing, and how's Chase gonna relax, swimming around the whole time? He finally seems to get a handle on the mess and starts tugging out the line. This is the first time ever that Flynn has ever had the goal of having people relax.
Yeah, he's usually like not about that at all.
Yeah, he's either the inciting incident on legs, or he's actively fucking with everybody. And how am I gonna relax with you fucking everything up? The line finally drops away from the spinner. That's what I get for bringing a pothead along.
Hey, I'm straight right now.
Doubt it.
Yeah, see, like Flynn
Flynn
Snickers.
Snickers. You sure about that? Carl rolls his eyes again.
Ask Chase.
I sit on a rock as I slowly reel in my line,
What does that
watching
mean?
my spinner glisten under the water.
Ask Chase, like
Ask Chase,
Is
like he
it-
can tell that he's sober or something.
no, that he or
Calling it straight feels weird. I've never heard that before.
yeah, I don't know.
Why are you asking me?
You have what's it called? Gaydar?
Wait, he did mean straight?
Well, yeah, well that's what I thought he meant.
I was like, what does that mean
And
in that context?
That's why I was like, why is he asking Chase? Is Chase gonna verify that like
Yeah.
Carl's been getting like
beep, beep, beep.
Carl's
beep.
been getting so much pussy, bro? Like
Carl's opposite end. Carl's gaping.
ew.
Isn't the idea that everyone has it? Is it? I don't think so.
No,
I think
because
the whole idea is that gay people can identify each other.
I was gonna say I think that there's a lot of miscommunications would have been avoided if everyone had that.
Yeah. He doesn't respond as Flynn starts showing him how to actually tie the line. I come up empty and cast the line out again, listening to the clicking whir of the reel before the spinner lands with a plop in the middle of the pond. I was wondering where Flynn would go to fish since he wouldn't go to Lake Emma, obviously. Turns out he and Leo found this pond 20 minutes outside of town, deep in the wilderness. Unsurprisingly, no one comes here, which is why Flynn says the fishing is good. How'd you guys find this together? What are you guys doing together when you found this place out in the wilderness
Yeah,
to
where
fish?
you're going out to
Yeah.
a remote place where no one's around. Why
Yeah.
were you doing that?
Interesting. Just a couple of guys going fishing. Normal bro activities. Why do you guys like to frequent this place that no one is at all the time? The whole time that that Chase has been out of town. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
There definitely is something calming about being out in the middle of nowhere, especially with the repetitive motions of fishing to keep you occupied, and also maybe being 20 minutes away from the hum, the bad thing.
Maybe.
Finally, Flynn finishes showing Carl how to cast, and the ram launches his spinner out, almost all the way to the other side of the pond.
Damn.
Careful, idiot! If you get it snagged on the other end, I'll whoop your ass.
Oh, lay off, Flynn.
Carl reels in fast, then casts it out again, making a pew sound as he does. Pew pew. Flynn sighs before walking up next to me, watching as I reel in much slower. I feel a little self-conscious with the way he stands over me, worried I'm doing something wrong. Sure enough, he steps forward, his chest up against my back as he grips the pole. Hot. Grab it above the reel post. Here.
Oh yeah, show me where to grab it.
Remember to cup the balls. He holds the rod, then grabs my paw and slides it up the pole.
Oh my goodness.
That way you can really grip it when you catch something. He's right up against my back, arms wrapped around me. I swallow and try to focus on the pole, which is also what he's doing. Alright. I hear him give a low chuckle in his throat, and I glare. Of course. He knows what he's doing right now, with my paws and the pole. He's probably rubbing in what he said yesterday. I decide to respond by sliding my tail up the inside of his leg, and I feel him shift against me, his chuckle turning into a grunt of surprise.
What the hell are you guys doing?
Just gay stuff. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You're not a part of this. You're too straight. Go away.
Flynn lets go of the pole and steps back as Carl watches us, his face screwed up in exaggerated disgust. Showing him how to fish. Now it's your turn, fatty. Carl pauses on his reeling.
It's not like we haven't done this before. So they have. Well, so he's taken him fishing before. That's nice.
That sounds like innuendo.
I know it does. I know.
It's like we've never done this before.
Plus, I don't know if I want to feel your cloaca on my ass.
Too bad. It's a lot of effort to feel it on your ass.
Yeah.
By definition, nothing's sticking out. I focus back on fishing, still feeling a little warm from the close encounter I just had with Flynn. I'm a little angry that he'd try that, especially so soon after what happened. I try to focus back on how relaxing the motions are, sweeping the lake clockwise as I cast out again and again. If I really did want to catch a fish, though, I'd be swimming in the water right now. It isn't hard to do. I've done it several times when I was younger in the reservoir. Of course, that's less relaxing since you have to actively search for the fish rather than just sit placidly until one bites your lure. I've never killed one before, though. Careful, Carl! I wince and look up to the side, seeing Flynn covering his head and ducking as Carl's lure bounces and swings around above him. You didn't let go of the fucking button. Carl shrugs and starts to swing his pole around, trying to unwrap the line from his pole.
Well, if you weren't right up against my tail, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
I'm trying to show you.
Kapew!
So stupid.
Pew pew.
Carl launches his lure over the pond so far that it almost lands on the opposite bank. It does, however, wrap tightly around a branch sticking out from the fallen logs in the shallows. Ugh. Unfucking believable.
Oh shit.
He starts tugging and pulling, trying to get it untangled from the log. No, stop. You're gonna have to walk around the edge and get it.
What? There's fucking cacti on the edges. No way in hell.
Too bad. That's one of my last fucking lures.
What? Come on.
What a relaxing fishing trip.
Yeah, they're just arguing.
Carl's shoulders slump as he looks out across the pond.
I mean, it has potential to be relaxing. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
No one's doing it. No one knows how to relax right.
Making too many pew-pew laser noises. You ruined it with the lasers.
Lasers aren't relaxing.
They're not relaxing at all. Oh yeah, we're back. We had the continuity here. We had the diner food. I got my burger. I got a corn dog just because I saw it on the menu and was like, sure, let's fucking go. And I got a chocolate shake. And Stephanie had a fish sandwich
fish
and waffle fries. And only after it all arrived did I realize that I'd gotten mixed up on my phone and we ordered from Foster's, not Mel's. So that was lying.
That was all
lies.
A lie.
The whole order happened under the false pretense that it was Mel's, and it was actually Foster's. Criminal. I don't think I've had Foster's in like 10 years. And it used to be like this beautiful oasis in the desert because I was at Rainbow Basin for a week-long thing for geology, and so we were in like literal Death Valley, and like one of the students had heat stroke and all that. Like it was like 170 degrees Fahrenheit, and right on the border of the town was a Foster's, and it had air conditioning.
Well, they knew what they were doing.
Yes. Like, we would go there just for the air conditioning, basically. I sigh and set down my pole and start stripping my shirt off, followed by pants. After I pause, I decide to take off my boxers, too. It's not like Jenna's here. The only person who would care about your nudity in a town full of gay people.
I was gonna, okay, like,
group full of gay
if
people.
anything, well, I was gonna say, if Jenna was here and Jenna said, I'm gonna take off my pants and be my underwear because there's all a bunch of gay dudes here.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. I feel like this is your audience, Chase. Like I mean, obviously, yeah. Carl says he's not gay. I don't know how I
Everybody
feel
get
about
a
that.
look. It takes them a while to stop arguing, now about the plural form of cactus, and realize that I'm now nude.
Oh, so he's completely nude?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He took all of his clothes off, including his underwear. It's because he's going to go in the water and get the lure the shortcut way.
Chase?
I'll get the damn lure, just stop arguing.
Chase, your dick's out.
Want an excuse to give a little striptease, huh? Yeah, well, no one was looking. Great, good striptease.
And also, that's
what stripteasing is.
That's like not even. Yeah, you're not even.
There's like 7 reasons he's wrong.
Yeah.
1, no one was watching him strip,
naked. It's
and
not
2,
even a
yeah, he's just naked, so there's no tease.
No tease at all.
Shut up. We've all seen each other naked. Have they?
Can you elaborate
New-
on the context?
Where's that flashback scene?
They're probably all kids.
Why is
It's
there
probably not like.
damn
It's probably
it.
not fun. Like. It's probably like when you're a kid and your mom makes you take a bath from the other kid, and
Yeah.
it's just like, why did you ever do that, mother? Like that's horrifying.
Why, mother? Why have you betrayed me, mother?
I do try to angle my hips away so they can't see my balls and cock. You said it weird. You said it backwards and weird.
It's cock and balls.
Yeah.
Even I know that. And I don't have either of those things.
My favorite flavor of ginger beer, cock and balls. Which is hard to do considering I've just got such a huge dick.
Yeah, like I'm turned around and it's just hanging past like between my legs. It just can't
Yeah,
even
sorry,
hide
it's just got this knee-length throbber.
it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Curse this job for incentivizing me to just say the next curse thing that comes to mind at all times.
Knee length throbber, huh? Go type that into Google later.
Which is hard to do considering I've got a pretty steep bank to wobble over. I manage it though, and pretty soon I'm sludging through the thick mud. Ew. This is gonna suck.
With your dick out? That's
Careful.
Kind of messy.
I don't know what the fuck's in there. Probably all the broken bottles Leo and I threw there.
Yeah, please, yeah, watch your dick, please.
Just thinking about like without a paddle. Thanks for breaking glass where my kids play. Didn't you say no one comes here? I don't get his response because I dive right after that. The familiar feeling of water closing up around me, cutting off air and sound. Again, it's a huge relief to be back in the water, and I drift towards the bottom. It's not deep at all, and the water here has a slimy feel that I don't like. It's all the fish pee.
It's all
Still,
the algae.
Yeah, and the total lack of like circulation, because I think Lake Emma has a river and everything.
Yeah.
Still, it's better than nothing, and I undulate slowly across the pond. He undulates sexily with his balls and cock. I don't like how it's written that way. Why do you say it backwards?
Undulate's one of those really weird words that's
Undulate.
kind of uncanny. Like, it feels lewd, but it's, like, technically not. But, like,
Yeah.
undulate?
It doesn't take long to reach the log, as it's only about 30 feet away. What? It's a tiny pond.
Dude, Carl could have
30
definitely walked
feet?
around it. Carl's Carl's just being whiny.
Now I get why Carl's throwing stuff over the pond. It's so small.
It's not even worth taking your clothes off to swim in it. Just walk around and untie it. Like,
30 feet.
it'd take you less
is
time to do
so
that.
little lake. Oh my god, this pond is too small. How are there fish alive in here? They have a depressing life. I have to bob a few times to the surface to look around, though, since the water's too murky to see through. Unfortunate choice of photo. I'm actually kind of starting to regret doing this. I try to remember if I have any cuts or sores I'm going to have to douse with peroxide later. That's when one of my paws bumps the log, and I bob back to the surface, wiping a paw across my eyes. I see the line glinting above me, some drops of pond water clinging to it. I reach up and grasp it between my index and thumb to follow it to the branch. I feel Carl give it a few tugs. Hey, I caught a gay!
hey, Chase. Flynn says there's leeches in the pond.
I hear a loud smack followed by a yelp.
Yow!
Don't fucking yank it around. You want to snag his eyeball? I ignore them as I search for the lure. I continue to follow the line until I lean over the log and spot the spinner, shimmering in the sunlight, the hook wedged into the soft, wet wood. It comes out easily, and I carefully lift it, making sure I'm out of the way of the hook in case Carl decides to yank the line again.
Yeah, please, Carl, don't do
Please
that.
stop, yeah. When I turn around, I'm glad to see that Flynn's got the pole now.
The more responsible one.
The adult in the room. We thought that was Jenna, but then we played Jenna's route. I hold up the lure to show him and let it drop back into the water, Flynn slowly starting to reel it back in. I go back in, slowly swimming back to the opposite bank. It's at that point that I see a silver flash to the right of my field of vision. I look over and see a fish, swimming lazily over some plant life at the bottom of the pond. I pause and would have smiled if my mouth wasn't going to fill with pond water.
You would smile with your mouth closed.
Yeah, smile does not necessarily mean open lips. It would be funny, after all this time with the lures in their pools, for me to just pop out of the water, fish and paw. I swim over to it slowly, lingering to the side so I won't block the sunlight before diving down and snatching it up. I latch my claws in to keep it from escaping, as I give a little wiggle of delight. It's been a long time since I've done this, but it looks like I've still got it. I turn and start swimming back to Flynn and Carl. That's when I suddenly feel like I'm being watched.
Underwater? Oh no.
Dun, 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 dun. It's not the typical feeling, though. This is much, much more intense. I pause and look back over my shoulder, then forward again. It's pointless because everything's cloudy. I can't see more than 10 feet. I've sunk down to the bottom of the pond, both of my feet resting in deep muck as I crouch, trying to figure out where the feeling is coming from. It doesn't help that my head is starting to buzz, a tone building in my head that sounds like an orchestra tuning. I haven't been down that long, I shouldn't be running out of air. Of course, I should just swim back to the surface, where it's bright and safe, but I don't, because this feels too familiar. I don't like that he let his feet go in the muck. I feel like you could just get, like, suctioned in, like when I almost lost my shoes in that one, like, bank.
Yeah, Keith and I's brother had to pull him out of his shoes.
Yeah, we went to like a very receded lake, like it was really running out of water, and I just sank like almost knee deep into the mud, and I had to like pull myself out of my shoes, then pull my shoes back out manually, and then like grossly wash everything off to then put my shoes back on.
Yeah, it was a lake bed, so like because California's in a drought. And you still is technically,
and you just get suctioned in. You just get stuck in there.
Yeah, he got really stuck. Like, I was kind of worried, actually. Yeah, but his basically, we pulled him out, but his shoe was still, like, encapsulated in there because the mud was just so crazy.
Yeah, had to go back for it.
And then we got lost.
So I don't love that he stuck his feet in there. Yep, and then my brother cracked his head on the ice because he just made smart choices as it was going. He wanted a really big branch for his fish tank, so he carried it over his shoulders in the dark when the sun had already come down, and we had to finish going around the lake.
Basically, the walk was longer than we had expected, and the sun went down. We realized that our phones, we didn't have a flashlight.
So we only had our phones, but he didn't have a phone because he was holding the branch over both shoulders. And then on top of that, this shoreline was covered in ice. Like we were like a weird series of like ledges and like weird like shitty paths that are kind of like
the paths were obscured, and there was like sheets of ice everywhere. So yeah, he like slipped on one, fell down with his big stick, cracked his head. He was fine. It just was,
And then because it didn't fit in my car, we had to drive with this giant stick it's going from my passenger floor space all the way out through the back left window of my car with the door open.
It was very cold.
And so you had to sit in the back seat in the wind and the cold the entire drive home because he really wanted this stick.
Yes. What's
Lake
funny
memories.
is currently I have a portion of that stick in my snake tank. Yeah. Because basically what happened is he brought it back and realized it was so big, it was actually too big for what he wanted it for.
Yeah.
So he had to cut a part of it off, and I have a part of it.
It's huge. It's so big. Now it's probably gone anyway. Probably didn't even keep it.
Well, I have my piece as the memory.
Yeah. The same trip where we had to like carry Kiki at multiple points because she had to like go. We had to climb cliffs.
We had to climb cliffs and jump over like running portions of water that were pretty rough. Yeah. And so at one point I actually had to like toss her.
We had to hand Kiki from person to person.
And I was like, dude, if you drop, I told her, don't drop my baby. Don't drop my baby.
Don't drop my baby. That was not the most planned thing. This feels too familiar. I think back to when I was 12, playing in the abandoned school with Carl. I was hiding from him in a second-floor classroom when I felt this exact feeling. Intense, almost physical, like a hand was grabbing into the back of my neck. I look around again, then finally down at the fish in my paws. And now I know where it's coming from. Because I know because I know it. Before I know it, I'm whipping upwards, breaking through the surface in less than a second, and swimming towards my friends. I stumble onto the bank, splashing water everywhere as I do. I'm not holding the fish anymore. What the fuck were you doing? I try to steady my breathing, hoping they'll just think it's because I was down for so long, rather than me freaking the fuck out. Carl's laughing next to Flynn as I start pressing my paws down my body, trying to speed up the drying process. What? Carl shrugs, but Flynn smacks him upside the head again. He pissed in the water while you were under.
Carl thinks it's so funny.
He would.
Oh my gosh.
Great. Honestly, I don't really care right now. I wouldn't worry about it. You didn't come up near it, and there's probably worse in there anyway. Speaking of which, why don't you go further up the stream and wash up? I don't want you bringing pond shit into my truck. Okay. I sigh and pick up my clothes, just glad that they seemingly haven't noticed anything's off. Luckily for me, Flynn parked right next to the stream, so it's easy to find. It's freezing cold, though, compared to the pond, so I get washed up quickly. I gasp as I splash the water over my body, shivering before I stand back up and start squeezing the water out of my fur again. Everything okay?
Yeah, so like, Flynn seems perceptive. I'm sure he figured out something was wrong.
Whereas Carl isn't ever.
No.
I jump and look back. Flynn's leaning against his truck, arms folded, watching me. I blush. It was easier to be naked in front of the two of them, but for some reason it just being Flynn makes it way more embarrassing. I turn back around, pressing my tail harder against my ass as I wave my arms up and down, trying to dry off. Yeah? Come for a show? Yeah, always wanted to see the naked otter mimicking a bird.
Because he's waving his arms up and down?
Yeah, and it's in quotes like a title, so I was like, what?
I think it means like the show, like what the show would be called.
Yeah, but at first glance I was like, why is there an apostrophe in front of naked, like it's an abbreviation? Shut up, I'm trying to dry off. Flynn doesn't say anything, so I just turn around, not even bothering to cover up, paws on my hips. Okay, seriously, you just come to see me naked? He hasn't moved at all, but he cracks a smile. Maybe. I don't let that trip me up, and instead thrust my hips out, legs spread.
Oh my gosh.
God damn, Chase. Well, there you go.
Might as well just do a little spin, like while you're at it, do like a little windmill action, you know?
Just fucking meat spin.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the song? Round and Round by DOA, I think.
Right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, right round.
If you sit there long enough, it says you're gay. They got me. I don't remember how many it is, if it's like 30 or 50 or 100 spins or whatever, but it has a counter going up, and if it hits a certain total, it just says you're gay.
I just thought it was funny because I was just like, I didn't know that could do that. Like,
yeah.
The little kid in me was just like,
the physics is
how does
entertaining.
that work?
But also, like, it's also like, considering the types of shock sites that were going around back then, that one is so comically tame that it's like confusing as a concept that it was a shock site. It is literally just normal gay sex happening in a slightly funny way.
Well, that is when people were access to gay sex was not like.
Well, I'm just saying, like I could. There was a series of bad things you could say that were all references to all these different shock sites that were much more distressing.
I had a few that I vehemently avoided.
Yeah, I carefully didn't learn what most of them were because I think
I'm just easy grossed out. So there's a lot of things I was not going to look up.
I think
Two Girls, One Cup. Never seen it. Not gonna see it.
Cup.
I knew what it was, and I'm never gonna look that up.
Tub Girl.
Yes. No.
Was
there
one called Blue Waffle?
No.
Like that was all bad stuff. I've never seen any of these, and I don't want to. I know about Meat Spin,
Mr.
And
Hands.
then Lemon Party. And Lemon Party was also just gay sex, but old people.
I think I've seen both of those.
That was the entire shock. I'm like, huh? Considering, like, whenever I heard other shock sites described, this sounds so just distressing that Lemon Party and Meat Spin are like, wait, that's just sex, guys, that's just
yeah, but like I said, okay, so like, you know, early internet, not a lot of like,
check out this shock site, it's called pornhub.com/gay.
I mean, that wasn't really out yet, like. And then it's like, you know, you watch movies and stuff, you can't see a lot of gay sex in movies. So it's like, a lot of like kids were like, oh, you see that scene where like that girl has her tits out? Like, oh my gosh, like biggest deal in the world. And it's like, obviously
I just really struggle with the idea that at any time, at any age group, that stuff was as shocking to them as the other options that we've mentioned.
No,
That's so baffling to me.
Yeah, there's a reason I've seen those ones and not the other ones I specifically avoided. Like,
yeah. Sorry, audience, for viscerally reminding you of things if you have seen these places before, because if we haven't, and we recall these names with reckless abandon because we share none of the trauma.
Yeah, but also like we're showing our age again.
Yeah, no. I think I saw Mr. Hands. I think Mr. Hands was a popular 404 sign.
That one I've avoided. I'm just not really cool with
404, or it was like, that might not have been that. There's some sort of like,
I think Goatsy.
There's some sort of infamous gaping sort of,
that's Goatsy.
Bad.
I think
that was Goatsy. I think there's a Goatsy thing that was like, it was like a common problem in early internet back before we had image hosting sites and YouTube and all these like universal like central platforms that hosted everything all the time, is that you could embed a picture in a forum that you like right click and copy the link from a different website. And what that functionally meant is that you're accessing the server of the site you stole the image from, because you didn't save it, and you could save images, but you couldn't save them and then like upload to the forum usually or something like that, because that would like the ability to upload images to almost anywhere was much more restricted, because that was server costs that person would then have that owned the website you were like using back in the day before there were huge platforms like this. So what people would do is they would just copy the link to images. They would link the images directly and embed them in the forums. And so, in order that what happens is people start using protection against that kind of stuff. And so one of the ones that's like viscerally in my brain is that if there is on some websites, if you tried to hyperlink, or if you tried to like directly link their images on other sites, instead of the image you got that picture, and it was like it had a clever phrase, but it was something along the lines of like, it's like, image hosting is ruining my server costs, like my asshole, or something like that. And it's like, Jesus Christ. It was extreme.
No, I just like,
and at the time it was essentially like you were essentially ambushing people with hardcore porn for fucking with your server costs.
I wasn't on the internet much, and I continue that tradition to this day. But even some of like the most notorious ones, I still caught wind of all of them, because I'm, I have a lot of friends. People like to tell me stuff, so I just know things. But luckily, I avoided a lot of long-term trauma. So yeah. Now all my trauma is self-inflicted on purpose.
For fun.
Yay. And it's under my control.
I got a towel in my truck. He's still smiling, and his eyes definitely aren't on mine. Flynn has flirted with me before, even while I was dating Leo. I vaguely remember there being some altercations between the two. I make my way to the truck, again trying to angle my hips away from him. You really know how to creep a guy out.
It's the deep V.
It's the deep V.
It's the deep V, yep.
I lift up the handle, but the door doesn't open. Hey, unlock the... Ugh. Something shoves hard into the small of my back, and I'm thrown forward to land with a wet splat against the hot metal of Flynn's truck. What the hell? Something tall, skinny, and muscular presses up against my back. Chills run down my spine as Flynn's muzzle snuffles into my ear, a low growling in his voice. You really think you could just tease me like that and get away with it? His paws slide around my body, between the car and my stomach, before moving up to my chest.
I'm assuming that was his arm against the small of his back, right?
I think it means it was his body. Like, it's his back against his back.
Okay.
There's his front against his back, and they're going back to back. Folded arms and posing like Men in Black.
Yeah, that's sexy, right? Isn't that what people do when they are trying to flirt with each other?
I'm frozen that way. Pause against the passenger window as I stare in shock through it at the truck's steering wheel, though I'm not really seeing it. There's a pause, and I think it's because he's waiting for my response, to see if I tell him to stop or not. I don't, though, and I lean my head back into his neck, feeling my entire body break out into goosebumps as he rubs at my chest. You like that, don't you, snowflake? I respond with a gasp as his sharp teeth graze across one of my stubby ears, his hot breath sending another wave of chills over my skin. His hands slide back down, slowly feeling out my body. Acting like a little slut. You didn't think that was gonna happen? I stiffen a little under the remark, and lift my tail up again between his legs. You're one to fucking talk. I'm not completely sure about what's going on, if this is a spur-of-the-moment thing or if he's just trying to prove a point. What I do know is that we both want it.
Dude, this escalated really quickly. Yeah, definitely save, because I want to see both options. But dude, like every other route, like, I mean, like Leo, obviously we have like a little bit of background with, so when he tries to molest us against the pinball machine,
yeah,
it's but it's not that's kind of not as sexy because it's kind of non-consensual. Flynn just right down to business. Dude. This is very immediate in the route. Okay, so what we have to do first? Let him do the work first, or
let him do the work first.
To be fair, that's the one I would pick overall. So I don't know.
So maybe we should do that one last, so we don't have to load again. Make it the canon one.
Yeah, because I think in this scenario, Flynn's the dom, and I like it that way. So we're gonna switch positions first. Switch positions. It's my least liked option.
If he's being aggressive, we'll be aggressive. Turn it on him. Aggressive as Flynn can be, I know he's got a soft side.
He's a soft belly lizard.
On top of that, he caught me off guard, and that's annoying. For a moment, Flynn pauses again, as if he's distracted by something, but I don't give him time to tell me what it is. Using my tail, it coils to his thigh, and I drag the reptile around, ending his spin with his back thumping into his truck. My paws slip into his open shirt, pinning either side of the button-up to his arms. He grunts, a smirk on his muzzle as he leers at me. Well, well. There's the spicy otter I used to know. Forgot how damn strong otter tails can be. A grin of my own works across my muzzle. And I forgot how soft scales can be.
Have they done this before?
No, I don't think so. Because all he did was say that they flirted before, or he flirted. I bring my snout to his stomach, and firmly nuzzle into the patch of orange scales there. Flynn's abs flex for a moment, and then relax as I work my broad nose in. His skin is a little coarse, but underneath it is soft and warm. It had always been Flynn's soft spot. Not just physically, it's also a really sensitive spot for him. I found this out years ago when I first tickled him. And it's evident in the little lizard moan that slips out of his muzzle. Ah. Cheap move, Chase. Fucking otters and their wet, cold-ass noses. Carl's just, like, over there somewhere. Thanks for taking a long time.
See, what if Carl's, like, on the edge of the river just staring, like, in, like...
He's just, like, this is all happening in plain sight.
He's, like, a kid who's, like, seeing his parents have sex. He's like, oh, no. He's like, shell-shocked. His eyes are, like, gigantic. And he's, like, dropped all the stuff. He's just staring from across the...
Why are they fighting? Yeah, and you love it, Flynn. I'm not exactly sure what's gotten into me. It's like I'm a teenager again, the way I'm acting. I can see Flynn's surprise, too. but he doesn't say anything. At this point, his button-up is slipped over his shoulders, revealing more of his taut, lithely form. His dark scales and orange scales both glisten in the desert sun. For some reason, the changed color made me think that the second word would be a different word.
The what?
I paused because I was like, is dark scales and orange scales?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Flynn's biceps flex as he struggles with my hold, which must have been an act because he sure as hell couldn't have broken the pin if he tried.
Yeah, he's kind of weak, isn't he?
Yeah. His playful struggling only gets me more excited. My sheath is filling rapidly now, and I can see his pants are fully tented. He sighs breathily and relents as I keep my hold firm, continuing to tease his belly. It's like a leather pillow, you know? Supple. A little fucking tilde. Flynn's face flushes as I bring my paws to his waist, pressing him to his truck, caressing his torso.
I wonder if they included that line because they wanted to explain to the audience how it would feel, because there might be some, like, conflicting feelings about Flynn not being as fun to fuck because he's a lizard.
Because people think that lizards are, like, rough or something.
Or slimy. Some people do think, like...
People have weird ideas of what lizards and snakes feel like.
Yeah, they're like, oh, slimy. And I'm like, what? No. Like, slimy and, like, in rough. Yeah, rough is one of them.
Like, I think you're thinking of a salamander.
I mean, honestly, Gila monsters are hella bumpy. You ever seen it? They're not going to be fun to fuck.
Yeah, but he's a magic man.
Yeah, we're not counting that. Like, that doesn't matter. But I think they included that so you can visualize, like, okay, this is fine. Like, this is sexy. It's not like some cold, like, robotic, slimy thing.
My paws glide over his chest before sliding down his sides, then around his waist to grope his ass.
I have a picture of that on my body pillow.
Your Flynn body pillow.
I do.
Just in time.
It's like soft leather, supple.
We've been doing this all day, so I kind of forgot because we did the short stories, but like this is the second episode of Flynn's Route.
Yeah.
That's how fast we're getting to this.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god. Fuck. You know, I don't let just anybody touch me like this. I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, you slut.
Ruined it in the moment. Flynn just walks off. How dare you?
He's heartbroken.
A little shiver runs through the lizard. Then he leans in, free from my grasp, nibbling breathily into my ear, and I shiver a bit in return. Flynn slouches down for better leverage, his paws wrapping the small of my back. I take advantage of him being at my height level, and glide my wet tongue over the slick scales of his neck. His whole body gives a weird little jump, his hands snapping up to grab my arms, almost painfully, but he doesn't push me away. I give a little grunt of annoyance and shrug off his hands, bringing my own paws back to his front. Dragging my blunt claws along his stomach, I trail them to around his back, scritching into his scales. Flynn rasps, letting out another reptilian moan. I can't help but giggle, pressing my body into the euphoric lizard. He tilts his head back, eyes half-lidded, and maw agape, his tongue flicking at the air. For a moment, I realize exactly what I'm doing, making out with my childhood friend. Strange as it seems, it's sexy as hell. A few years ago, there was no way I'd be okay with this. I guess the time apart, along with being pent up for the past few days, helped to spur me on.
Yeah, so it takes only a few days to just completely go all out with your childhood friend, huh?
Reprogramming your entire expectations.
Like
Chase is an astonishingly horny person.
Well, I'm assuming it's been like 2-3 days. Like, you know, like people go on vacations with to Disneyland with their family for a week at a time. Like, how do you live, Chase?
Yeah. It's like, well, I haven't been railed by Vincent in about 48 hours, so
I gotta go jerk off in the shower to Jenna again. Like, it's like, come on, dude.
I'm nearly fully out of my sheath at this point, my cock pressing into his very tented pants crotch. He pulls me in, and I undulate against him. There it is again.
There it is. I told you, I knew it was a sexy
with
word.
My own. That was foreshadowing. Riding out the reptile's spasms, I smooth my paw pads down his back, dipping below his pants belt line, under his boxer briefs. Again, I grab 2 pawfuls of naked Gila ass, clasping Flynn's butt on either side of his shorts, of a short, fat tail. Short? That's not where the art landed.
No.
God damn it, Chase. Ugh. Had I known you still... Oh. I grew up with the lizard, cutting him off. Sorry. Like that face you made. Go on. Would have made him move sooner is all. I slide my paws around his waist, toward the front, and brush up against something very hot and solid. I grin, feeling mischievous. I shove him into the lake.
It was a prank, haha. I'm not gay at all.
It was all long con. Wrapping my paw around Flynn's rock-solid member, I give a brisk, smooth pump. He moans, practically melting over me now, his muzzle in the crook of my neck. And I think I feel him drooling down my back? Shit. You must have been a handful for Wolfie Boy. He's not the type to easily submit.
Uh-oh. Well, okay, never mind. I thought he was gonna be like, what, you fucked Leo?
Flynn's right. Leo was a stubborn boyfriend, in and out of the bedroom. With a lot of coaxing, I could eventually get him to see things my way, but that hardly ever happened. I had a lot more energy as a teenager, more zest, I guess. It's hard to explain, but over the years I've just become more, well, exactly what Flynn accused me of being. Personally, I just chalked it up to growing up. But right now, I do sort of feel like my old self, and that's kind of incredible. Hey, I'm a versatile otter. I like to trade off. I grin as Flynn guides my paws in his briefs, returning a smirk. This is the most choices ever. What is happening?
Well, okay, Keith, what do you want to do?
Should we push down his pants?
Can you save again?
Do we just save again? I don't know if we want to exhaust every option. This is a choice-heavy playthrough.
I mean, I feel like I had to push down his pants, but like,
Yeah.
You know, we've done those other 2 already.
He likes that we're aggressive. I'm about to pull my paws out of Flynn's grasp when he steps back. He lets go of my wrists, the expression on his face strange again. He's looking for something. Yeah, it wasn't the meal choices. He's definitely noticing something.
Oh.
He's reacting whenever we make choices and he sees our face.
Oh.
He was behind us last time, so there was no reaction to like the top or bottom choice.
Yeah.
This is weird.
It is weird. He's breaking the 4th wall.
Yeah, he can see what's happening. He sees us. He's judging us specifically.
Oh no!
For wanting to sleep with Flynn.
Well, Flynn can...
It's like, you have a fucking bottle pillow of me?
Yes. Flynn, why are you mad, bro?
I'm not even making royalties.
I mean, that's not my fault.
I'm confused, still sort of slack-jawed as I stare back at him. What? Slowly, his expression becomes more resolute, almost dark as he steps back further away from me, folding his arms. Nothing, just realized that Carl could see us. We shouldn't have done this here. Huh? He's acting like I started this. I'm feeling self-conscious now that he's clearly not interested in continuing. I turn away, slightly, one paw against the car as I angle my body so he can't see my dick anymore. I look back over my shoulder at him, feeling myself getting angrier. Hey, you're the one who... But he's already turned around and heading back towards the pond. I watch him go, feeling bewildered and maybe even a little hurt. Asshole. I mutter it under my breath. Did he stop because he decided I wasn't up to his standards? That idea hurts even more because I imagine those are pretty low.
Oh. Whoa.
I stand there for a while longer, feeling like a complete idiot before finally heading back to the stream. I've picked up all kinds of shit from smearing my body against this dirty truck. There's just gonna be a chase-shaped, like...
Carl's like, What's that?
Yeah. There's just gonna be a chase-shaped pattern on the side of the vehicle because he was just like wet on a dusty truck. It's just like you just make out specific shapes and everything.
Chase, why were you like leaning all up against the truck? That makes no sense.
I'll be sure to not let him take advantage of me so easily again. Aw. Anyway, no reason.
Yeah, so I don't think it really would have mattered at all which
No.
choice we picked in the last one.
No, especially not the last one, but I wonder if...
This will make a difference, I think, in terms of description.
If he doesn't see our face, I wonder if it changes him realizing something or not, but...
Oh, that's a good point.
But maybe he always does see our face and it never actually happens, but there might be different descriptions here. I find it interesting that he talks about, like, it's like basically Chase was a big bottom growing up, but he a few times tried to, like, coax Leo into bottoming, but Leo wasn't up for it generally. But then in college, he, like, sort of turned around, was the implication.
Like who? Leo turned around, or
No, Chase did.
turned
Like,
around?
Chase got more dominant in college.
Oh, okay.
Flynn's not too bad with his hands. I want to see what he does. Flynn pauses for a second, as if he's having second thoughts. But after a while, he goes on. Damn, you're fucking hot. He rubs my stomach, which I suck in, and I have to keep from whimpering as one of his fingers teases at my belly button. I like skinny guys. Is that just a natural part of being an otter? I can tell you don't work out.
Oh my gosh.
It's like kind of negging, but also we specifically know there's a fat otter man in this town. That's the one other otter, and that's how they know that's not Chase, is because he's a little fat man.
That is, I feel like that is negging.
Yeah. Well, you look pretty good for a lazy bastard that doesn't do anything and take care of yourself.
You're really pretty, despite like
You know,
that mole on your face.
despite
Like,
not even trying.
Yeah.
Hey, I still have to keep in shape. I swim. I can't go on as he breathes into my ear again, making me gasp and lean my head back, biting my lip. Sensitive ears, huh? Finally, he gets to my lower stomach, and he pauses, waiting again for my response. Again, I don't say anything, instead pushing my butt back into his crotch and thighs. One of his pinky fingers prods gently at the top of my sheath. Suddenly he lets go, from cupping my stomach to cup my balls, pushing the furry sack up against my body. I gasp loudly, eyes wide as I feel my sheath filling up as his thumb prods at my nuts. There's something mind-blowingly bizarre about having one of my childhood friends groping me like this, and it's got me all kinds of confused. 3 years ago, just before I left, this would have been insane. No way in hell would I have been okay with it. But now, something about the time that we've been apart has made all of this okay. And incredibly hot. I think not having any sort of release over the past few days has something to do with it. Flynn suddenly lets go, then grabs me by the shoulder and turns me around roughly. Once my back is firmly pressed against his truck, he grabs my wrists and pins them up by my head. With my body fully exposed, he looks me over, a hungry look in his eyes. I just stand there, feeling vulnerable under his gaze, especially when he gets to my junk. I get harder just with him looking at it. His eyes flick back up to mine, and I look back at him. Then I give him a smirk. Flynn sneers back, and suddenly his head dives in. I have just a second to gasp before I feel his muzzle close around my neck, and I freeze, fur standing up all over my body. Flynn gently undulates his head, getting his teeth past the thick fur on my neck to prick at the skin underneath. I stare at the sky, mouth hanging open as I clutch at his chest, feeling the chuckle past his pecs as he keeps me pinned. Then he presses his thick, strong tongue through my fur to tease at the flesh, pressing against the pulse in my neck.
It's one of those things I didn't really think about, but like, yeah, if you're like in this world, if you're trying to like give someone like a hickey or like kiss on them and stuff, you have like a mouthful of fur all the time.
Yeah. Also giant mouths.
Oh gosh, just wrap your whole mouth around their entire jugular. Like,
Yeah, like his mouth is currently like around Chase's neck,
that's kind of cool.
like in a way that is not common.
That's some B-stars like teasing.
My knees go weak and I sag against the truck, letting out a loud, gasping whimper. This spurs the lizard on and lets out another chuckle, doing it again, clearly wanting me to make more noises. How the hell did he know my weak spots? For some reason, I start to wonder if he's talked to Leo about me, and that brings up all kinds of complications I don't want to think about right now. I shove it to the back of my mind. Besides, I know Flynn's weak spots too, which is us going at it, but with Leo chained to a chair in the corner, forced to watch, unable to interact.
God, that'd be complicated.
Leo cuck arc, let's go.
I'd be okay with that.
Flynn brings down my right paw from its position against the window, which is fine, because it was starting to fall asleep. But then he presses it against his stomach. He's warm and soft, his leathery hide sliding smoothly along the muscles of his belly. It's clear he doesn't work out either, but I'm okay with that. I press against him, and he gives a slight huff through his nostrils. Then he starts to slide my paw lower, past the waistband of his pants, under his boxers. I can't see what's going on, since he's still got his mouth around my neck. That's when I feel something hot and smooth against my fingertips. I grin, feeling mischievous. Wrapping my paw around... It's the same dialogue again. No!
Just click it. Oh yeah, I was
You've
just say,
ruined it. You want to see if something else happens?
Just to see.
Grope him some more. I'm about to continue stroking when Flynn suddenly pulls away, and then the same thing. Freaking, you just had to ruin things by making a choice, Chase. It's the worst thing you can ever do. Now we have to wait for like 6 more hours before he rails you.
Oh no, so long. I don't know. Chase has only got like a waiting time of like several days before he apparently
He's gonna explode.
So
He's gonna explode.
6
He'll
hours.
never survive that long.
Oh goodness.